Been a minute. There it is.
It says we're live.
We're live. We're back. Hey, that was more my fault than the Greg's fault.
Yeah, how you feeling, buddy?
I was not up to it. And when I found out what happened to me, I wanted to just kind of like beat myself up because I wasn't sick. My nervous system literally was so fried and shot to hell that my body shut down for 4 days.
Were you hungover? No,
No,
4 days.
No. I for the last 3 weeks, I've been training every single day, but not going hard.
Okay.
I was being smart about it, right? So like I lift heavy, and then the next I would do a nice little run, and then I'd keep going, and then all of a sudden, what happened was I talked to a friend of mine who has a master's degree in exercise science, and I said, "Okay, tell me what you think could have happened." What I did was I was feeling a little sore Friday. This is the Friday before the 4th of July break.
Okay.
I was feeling a little sore, like run down. I was like, I should take a rest. But I went on the rower and I just rode nice and easy, no deal.
Mm-hmm.
Then I ran a mile. And then I went, I immediately about, I would say 10 minutes after the workout, I decided for the first time in my life ever, jump into a cold bath. No ice, just turned on my faucet, just turned on not the faucet, just turned on the, the tub, let it fill up to his, I would say, level, and just sat in there for about 15 minutes. Got out, felt fantastic. Went to bed, woke up, and I swear to God, it felt like I went through some sort of military selection day. My body was shot to shit. I couldn't grip anything. I could literally, there was no strength. Gwen could rip something out of my hand so easy.
Yeah.
When I would stand still, because when you're sore, shit hurts just to move, right?
Uh-huh.
But if you stand still, it was throbbing and my entire body was throbbing. I thought, oh my God, I have I don't know, this is like COVID-20. I don't know what the fuck this something's up. So for 4 days, I was out. I couldn't, brushing my teeth exhausted me. Going up the stairs exhausted me. And so I called him and he goes, yeah, you've been overtraining. You're 40.
Yeah.
He goes, you're 45 years old. You're not 20. And I was like, but I felt good. He's like, okay, you're overtraining.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, my body wasn't telling me that I was tired. And he goes, have you ever done a cold bath before? I'm like, no. And he goes, okay, that could do it. He goes,
yeah, just the cold bath could do it.
Yeah, he went through some sort of science that like the hydrogen in the hydrogen somethings.
Oh, okay.
Like he said it like, and basically what happened was you release them so fast, or the muscles constricted in the cold so fast, it pushed them all out, and then your bloodstream just carried it all over your body. That's why he goes, that's why like your eyelids were hurting. And I was like, yeah. He goes, yeah, it went through all your body. He goes, it was kind of a perfect storm, overtraining, a new stimulus. And then I think I had a small little cold. And he said, all those three just knocked you on your ass. You were done. So word to the wise out there, if you are my age or older,
if you're my age or older, if you're just over 40,
you gotta take days off. You just got to. You got to do it. Yeah.
I did. And this was a while ago. I got back into the weight room and I was doing, I didn't get back in the weight room in terms of like how we think. I went and took a class, a Les Mills like body pump kind of class,
which are tough. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh yes. Don't discount those at all. Those are, I mean, even though you're only curling 10 pounds, you do so many, and it's like go halfway down and go all the way up, and halfway down and halfway up, go all the way down and all the way up, go all the way down, go halfway.
I'll do that another 103 times.
Oh my gosh, it was the first time I did it, I was like, well, I'm grabbing like 20s, right? Because I'm a man.
Yeah, exactly.
And I had to switch out like halfway through. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Crapped up. And so I did 2 days of that, and literally had that whole like perma bend on your arms where you're just walking around like this, and you can't like, and talk to an actual trainer. I said, okay, now in my 20s, I just would have went back and trained anyway. Like just use the weight to stretch out your arms and just go. And she's like, please don't do that.
Yeah.
So after that incident, I got a lot smarter with training. When I do it, which is not often, but yeah, come on, John, you know better than that.
You know what's funny? I did, but you know what? I got suckered in. There's this guy, okay, and I've realized it now. I'm just like my wife sometimes. I have to go through it to go, oh, I can't do that. There's a guy out there, 50 years old. His name is Cam Haynes. I'm sure you've met him or not met him. I'm sure you've heard me talk about him or you've heard him. He's a bow hunter. It's what he does for a living.
Oh, yeah, that guy. Okay.
All right. He runs, I think, close to a marathon every week. I might be actually like, he might do it every 2 days or something like that. You know what I'm saying? He's an ultra marathoner. He just runs and he works out every day. This is all he does. And I thought, well, if a 50-year-old man can do it, I can do it if I start small and I just start working my way up. And I don't think my body, I'm not a freak of nature. So my body can't handle that the way, like, I think a guy like Cam Haynes, who I think is a freak of nature. He's just, well, if he were to ever stop, he's going to have a heart attack.
Yeah, absolutely. Genetics are involved. And,
yes.
I remember why it was probably I was like 40, 41, 42, something like that. So it's a handful of years ago. I decided I'm going to start running. I'm there
right now. I'm like these shoes. I'm like ready to go.
I got the Couch to 5K app because I was hearing a lot of good things about that. It was when my wife really started to work a lot with a race promoter. He does lots of 5Ks, half marathons, stuff like that. I'm like, no, I think I want to do one of Sean's 5Ks. Like, this will be a thing I can do.
Yes.
And I remember I was going to church with a doctor, and he's a sports guy. He does he's some kind of surgeon. I can't remember what specifically he does. But he does like joints and tendons and whatever. Yeah. And I was telling him, I'm like, well, yeah, I started running. He goes, really? I go, yeah. He goes, were you a runner before? Like you ran like in your teens and 20s, like you were a runner and you're just getting back into it. And I'm like, oh no, never. He goes, you were never a runner. I said, no, I was a defensive lineman. We did like sprints, and then I did shot put and discus. So it was like more explosive power and stuff like that. And he goes, oh, but like in college, you started running, you started to do like some distance kind of stuff. I said, no, never. He goes, so you've never been a runner? I said, no. He goes, stop right now. Do not do. I mean, he's like, I get what you're trying to do. He's like, the Couch 5K thing. You want to get fit. He's like,
really?
He's like, if you really feel the need to do a 5K, just walk it. You can walk it. He's like,
you can walk it.
He's like, you can speed walk those pretty well. He's like, are you going to win a race? No, but you'll feel the accomplishment. You get the medal. It'll be fine. He's like, but don't start running at 40 something. I'm like, why not? He's like, your knees have never been built up to be a runner.
For that. Yeah.
He's like, your ankles,
understand that.
All that stuff. He's like, don't.
I really do. I really understand that. But a part of me says like, that's kind of bullshit, because how much stuff do we start in our late somethings that we've never done before, but we can manage it. We can figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, so I see where he's saying, and I think he's talking about the general public. Like, you probably shouldn't, like, that would be advice to me, because I would be the guy that would be like, yeah, I can run a 5K. Have you ever ran before? No. And I would do the 5K, but I would be broken for the next week. And I think that's what he was trying to save you from.
And I wasn't working with a trainer to teach me how to run. And
exactly. That's another thing
people run incorrectly. Like, unless you've had training in how to run correctly, you don't run right. Like,
Correct. And the shoes that we wear have fucked that up.
Yep. And I'm like literally running around my neighborhood. He goes, stop. He's like, you are going to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Like your tendons can't take it. Something's going to pull. Yeah, it's no good. And Clay, you go ahead and enjoy that bush light and s'mores on your back porch, because we're right there with you.
I've heard this about running, actually, and this is true. I didn't believe it, but it makes sense if you think about it. You see anybody that run like this, right?
Yeah.
It's counterintuitive to where your hips and your body, your lower body are taking you. You're sending power this way.
Mm-hmm.
And so they said, just open up your arms a little bit and go cheek to butt cheek and keep running this way. Opens up your lungs, gets you moving faster. Actually, you seem to run smoother, if that's such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's running's a lot. Like, you got to retrain yourself to run.
Yeah. Well, and his advice to me, he's like, if you really want to get the cardio in, he's like, if that's why you're doing it, he's like, swimming. Like, that's what you need to do.
I hear that's fantastic.
And I was I would put me at like 330 pounds at that point. He's like, don't. He's like, running, like the gravity of it is not good for you. He's like, did you ever like swimming? I said, oh yeah, I love swimming. My friends had an indoor pool growing up. I swam year round. He's like, that's for you. That's what
Your
you want.
friends had an indoor pool?
They did. Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
I would love that.
Yeah.
They're not friends anymore, huh?
Well, with the parents I am. I mean, I haven't seen the
Kurt took a shit in the pool. We're not inviting the Scroobies over anymore.
That would be funny. I hope he's listening.
Yeah. Anywho, what's on the agenda today? Well,
I don't know, John. What is on the agenda today?
Greg saw Thor: Love and Thunder.
I did.
And before Greg goes into the review, and we talked a little bit about it, I'm just going to give you how I feel about it. Now,
okay.
And what I mean by how I feel about it is I have this excitement meter. Like I'm really excited to go see a movie or something like that. Right.
Uh-huh.
When I kept seeing these trailers for Thor, I wasn't excited. And it's the first time I love Thor.
Okay,
I love Chris Hemsworth.
Why were you not excited? Can we get into that a little bit?
Yeah. It seemed like they were going too funny, too quirky, too crazy. And I appreciated Ragnarok for what it was. I really enjoyed it, actually. I thought it was very cool, but I thought Taika, is that his name? Taika?
Yeah, Taika.
I thought they were on a very thin line in terms of falling too far into goofiness.
Okay.
And I thought they masterfully did it. I thought they did it great there. I loved it.
Yeah, it was a good balance.
Yeah, very good balance. And everything I saw in the trailers here, it just seemed like, are you putting them in there because you're just putting them in there? Like, is there a reason for it? Is there any, like, to this moment, I'm not excited to see it. Like, I will probably not see this in the theaters. I'll probably wait till it's on Disney Plus in 45 days.
Wait the 40, 40 some days.
I'm just not excited to see it. And I was wondering to myself, do I think it's because Marvel peaked? In my opinion, Marvel has peaked. I don't know if they're on the downhill. I think you're going to have a lot of hit or misses now. But that was my feeling on Thor. Like, I'm just not, like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, had to see it. I was there opening day, had to see that damn thing. This one I'm like, well, whatever. I'll just hear reviews and see if it's good. So, Greg, you saw Thor: Love and Thunder.
I did. Yes.
Now, give me a little background on Thor for you and your Greg Thor. Like, okay. Greg's Thor.
Thor is in my top 3 of Marvel characters
from the time you were like 8.
From a young lad, definitely Thor was one of my top characters. It's Captain America.
Many iterations, imitations.
Yeah, my top 3 Marvel have always been Captain America, and then Hulk and Thor kind of vacillate between.
Yeah, hold on one quick moment. That would be a great time, guys. I believe on Audible. We forgot all about Audible.
We forgot about
I believe you can actually listen to comic books or graphic novels. Can you not?
Well, not like how you're thinking, but some of the top comic book writers are also novelists. In fact, one of the top Spider-Man novels out there is from Jim Butcher, who also wrote the Dresden Files.
There you go.
But it is a fantastic Spider-Man novel, which is available on Audible, which we are partnered with. So if you'd like to go check that out, you can go to audibletrial.com/JATG and check that out.
There you go. So here we go. Without further ado, Greg's review for Thor: Love and Thunder.
I want to see it again, so I'm going to preface that because I think I need to almost either solidify my initial thoughts or maybe change them up a little bit. But out of 5 stars, and this is our letterboxed review, so if you go to letterbox.com/JATG_podcast, you will find all of my film reviews that we're doing on here. So Thor: Love and Thunder, out of 5 stars, I gave it a 2. 2 stars. 2 stars.
What did you give Ragnarok?
I don't remember. I don't know if I had this up and running to do Ragnarok.
You want to read the review?
I can read it. Yeah, sure.
Will that stop people from going there? Because I think
I don't know. These are available at any time. But I said, if you like the first 2 Thor films, Thor and Thor Dark World, you definitely will not like this film. If you liked Thor Ragnarok, you might like this one, but you're probably going to think Ragnarok is better. If you like Thor comic books, then you can fuck right off, because none of the Thor comic book character is found here. It's like they gutted him, and Chris Hemsworth is wearing Thor's face. It's like a leather face kind of situation, so it's kind of like barely hanging on. If you think it makes him recognizable, but all you're looking at is a neon colored horrific version of this character. So this is as much as you want to think this is a Thor film, it is not. It is a Taika Waititi film.
Okay.
And Taika Waititi is known for big colors. The films that I've seen him make, Jojo Rabbit, good film. He's really into like the mockumentary style. In fact, he was the one that did when Thor had a flatmate or a roommate.
Oh, he did those?
That was like his introduction in the character.
Okay.
This film is, and I'm going to keep it as spoiler free as I can, but like they took elements from the comic, like the Gore the God Butcher, who is the bad guy of this film, the mighty Thor, which is Jane Foster becoming Thor. All of this is in the previews. I'm not
letting anybody know. Yeah. Not spoiling anything.
And it's like Jane's not in it enough to really give you a good feeling of her mighty Thor, because all the stuff she has with Chris Hemsworth when they're on screen together is two exes getting back together and seeing each other again for the first time in 8 years. And she doesn't really come into her own as mighty Thor, I don't think. They are carrying out some pretty good elements of that character, of why she became the mighty Thor, like that female version of Thor, but again with a different spin. Of like why the hammer came to her. While Mjolnir chose her or found her worthy. And you see Gord the God Butcher, but like his mission is pretty much the same as it is in the comic, but carrying it out kind of differently.
All right.
Like, it's not so much him he is going around killing some gods. That's why I call him the God Butcher. But he's got another overarching plan to kind of like a nuclear deterrent kind of piece.
Okay. All right.
Which brings in another kind of Marvel entity, which I'm glad they brought in, but it just, I don't know. And then there's a storyline with some kidnapped kids, and it was very disjointed. The comedy pieces, and that's what a lot, I even said this before, like this is going to be a comedy Thor. Like that's going to be what it is.
Yes.
So much so, like the battle scenes that are involved, unimpressive, like not impressive.
I was afraid of that too. Yeah.
They're just reusing, like they used, not War Pigs. What, oh God, the song from Ragnarok. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but they use that song.
Immigrant Song.
Yeah. They use Immigrant Song to great effect.
Yes,
in that film.
Yes, they did.
And so they try to do that with Guns N' Roses in this film, and it just kind of falls flat.
Yeah, I didn't pick, like, even when they picked that song in the trailer, I thought this doesn't like that's not Thor.
The Guardians make an appearance, and that's the best I'm gonna say. And their appearance completely falls flat.
Oh man,
it is. I don't know. It's just like they had all these different kind of threads of story,
and they didn't go anywhere with it.
It's like they tried to go somewhere with it, but they just didn't land.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a couple of reviewers that I've started following. Straw Hat Goofy is one guy. Jay Stubes is another woman, and they're nerds. I mean, they're like us, making it big in the new kind of reviewer scape that they do on like TikTok and socials and whatnot. And even they're just like, yep, the comedy didn't land like it was supposed to. The action certainly didn't land. But it's still left totally wide open for more Thor films. even though Chris Hemsworth has said maybe, like,
Oh, I
don't
haven't
know
heard
what's
that. I
up.
heard he said he'll play that as long as they want him to play it.
I'd be interested if he does, because the fact that he almost left after Dark World,
Yes.
and then he's saying Taika Waititi kind of brought him back in. I'm
Right.
like, then if that's how this is gonna go, I'm not
No,
in.
thank you. No,
Yeah,
thank you.
like
No.
I'll be like you. I'll just wait the 45 days and
Yeah.
catch it on Disney Plus.
Wow, that's actually saying something because you're not like that. You will actually gut out a bad movie just to keep the industry up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I will. I mean, I pay to go see the Sony films in the theater
Yeah.
because I like the superhero genre enough. And I mean, there's one gag that they use over and over again in Thor. It's funny, and I laughed every time they did it.
Yeah.
But then when you walk out of the theater, you're like, that's the most memorable thing
Oh,
that I'm walking out of the theater with.
That's a
And you're
shame
like,
because you had a
it
great
is.
talent and you had a great talent. Actually, if you look all over that board, there's great
It
talent.
is chock filled with talent. I mean,
Yeah.
King Valkyrie, they had so much there that they could have done.
Yes.
The scenes with her and Foster on screen together, I thought were really good, and there was a lot more they could have done there.
Okay.
Just
the fact that you have Christian Bale as your bad guy.
and you know what he did, it was interesting because it was the first time I heard Christian Bale actually like using his own accent in a film, because he's such a character actor.
Yeah.
And it's very much a character for him in this. And you understood Gore's motivation. And again, here's one piece, and I guess I will spoil this. As a comic fan, if you're a comic fan, a Thor comic book fan, you realize how much Sif and the Warriors 3 have played into his stories.
Yes.
And that's like Asgardian Avengers. I mean, they're such a big deal, and you love those characters.
Yeah.
They reduce them down to some exposition of Korg going, "Who's that guy? You remember him? Who is that again?" And you're like, "Did you just call Volstagg that guy? Fuck you, dude."
So it's almost like Tycho fell in love with his little creation of Korg.
He certainly did. Yes. And Korg is in the movie way too damn much.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I just saw one part where Thor was giving a speech and it looked like he was in a town hall meeting. And that weird little grub thing that has like mechanical arms.
Meek,
he says, "Meek, can you stop with the e?" I was like, he's like, I can't keep doing my speech with the e. And I thought when I heard that talent, I was like, oh, this is gonna be like from no.
And that's a great example of like, it was a moment where Thor was going to inspire New Asgard.
Yeah.
And they broke it with some kind of comedy beat that just doesn't even land.
Okay.
And you're like,
man,
why would you do that?
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks because both you and I are big fans of Thor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
excited to see Chris Hemsworth do
damn hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That's Stormbreaker plays an interesting role.
Okay.
In the film. So it's not totally without merit, but definitely.
But it's not what we as Thor fans want, right?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It is my least favorite Thor film.
Okay. Wow, least favorite, even after Dark World.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. All right. There you have it, folks. So if you still want to see it, go see it. If you want to wait 45 days or what less now, 40 days or 42 days left.
Cousin Clay says he's literally the dumb Thor from the What If, like where he's just
God, is he
not as arrogant, but
right?
Well, you know what? No, in the beginning,
but even in that What If that episode, I didn't care. I was like, is this just about him partying in Las Vegas? Like I was like so disappointed by that episode.
Yeah.
That What If episode.
Yeah. He's not exactly the same attitude, but he's in the beginning, he's just as aloof, I would say.
Okay. No, that's a shame.
So it was.
Yeah, there was a lot you could have done with the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor. Like that.
They didn't touch it.
They didn't touch it. Damn, that's a shame. That's a shame. Yeah. Maybe what they're gonna start doing is what they're doing with Star Wars now. They'll show what that was actually like I don't know, in some
I've heard
animated
there
version or
is
something.
a four hours of extra footage that hit the cutting room floor because Taika is, I mean, he wants his actors to ad lib. Just, we're going to keep the camera rolling. You just do the scene over and over again, throw in some different jokes, some different things. And he has said, yeah, there's 4 hours of extra material out there, but it's all crap. Like, I don't even want to show it to you guys because it's that bad. The jokes don't land. And I'm like, if what is hit the cutting room floor
didn't land,
then what the hell is that? Because what they put on the screen, you're going, okay.
Wow, that's a shame.
Again,
there
were a couple cool moments in there,
and that's it.
And that was about it.
That's a shame.
But again, Thor will return. He'll come back.
Yeah, because we all love him.
Yep.
All right, man. I wanted to actually go back to a show that dropped last week in July 1st. I've been pushing these books. It seems like not pushing them, but I just caught fire and I started reading all these books. The Jack Carr series with James Reese, The Terminalist. Chris Pratt was in it. I hear it had horrible reviews, but the audience loved it. Greg, you watched the whole series, correct?
Yes.
Did you like it? Did you not?
I did. It was 8 episodes, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, it was 8 episodes that I feel they probably could have done in 6.
I agree. I always agree with that, actually. Yeah. I enjoyed it myself. It's vastly different. If you're expecting now, because Greg gave you some good advice to watch the movie first, and if you like it, go pick up the book. You will read a completely different story in the book. Completely different. So just be prepared for that. They're both good stories, actually. But you will be shocked at how little it kind of is. A lot of characters aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of characters that they have here don't have as big of a part. A lot of the characters in The Terminalist, the show versus the book, the nationalities are different. So that's just something to consider and think about. So there were some moments that it was odd, and it was very odd seeing Chris Pratt serious all the time. Very odd. I get it. He was supposed to be, he's he's going through some really heavy moments in his life.
Heavy stuff.
And
which I didn't expect. I didn't expect the heaviness of it.
Yeah, that's what Ursula said too.
Yeah.
It's a man who, if you take everything away from him, he doesn't hold back. So again, that was a little bit of a shocker to me, but there were some moments that seemed off. That's all. And I don't know. And I'm not a military person. I'm not even a teams guy, obviously. So I wouldn't know in terms of, but according to them, that whole thing was crawling with Navy SEALs in terms of, Jack Carr, the guy who actually wrote it. And then I think the guy that played Boozer is actually a Navy SEAL. And there's a bunch of other Navy SEALs that were like consulting on the entire thing.
Okay.
He wanted to make it as genuine as possible. Did you catch Arnold Schwarzenegger's son in that?
I saw he was in it, but I didn't spot him.
Okay.
Like
he's
when
Donnie
we were watching
Mitchell. He's Donnie Mitchell. He dies. Oops. Something bad happens to him.
Yeah.
But in the first
episode,
in the first episode, he's the one that says, "I feel like a goddamn pit bull, sir."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't have caught that. Oh, that's Arnold's son.
Yeah.
Probably because Arnold's son could walk into my house right now. I'd be like, "Who are you?" But
get out now.
Yeah. I wouldn't know.
Yeah. But I like it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I think they're going to do a sequel.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think there'll be at least another season.
It should be True Believer, which was good. My favorite one was Savage Son. That was my favorite one. But
have you read them all?
No. I unfortunately get in this nasty little habit. Like, I'll give you an example. This isn't, but if I buy the first book and it's this size, I can't buy a book. I can't buy the second book if it's this size. Like,
Oh,
just upsets me. I don't know
like,
why.
like it doesn't look good on the bookshelf. You
Yeah,
can't do
and
it.
I can't do it. So I'm waiting for the fourth book to come in the size that I have all the other ones in.
I can understand that. I've seen some guys that do like the graphic novels or like the
Yes.
omnibus or something like that.
Yeah.
And like it's all the same, but then for some reason they print like instead of like doing a top justification
Yeah.
going down, they'll like do it from the bottom. And you're like, why? Why would you?
Why would
I
you
can't.
mess with my world? Like, why
Yeah.
can't, like, I have so very little order in my world. Why would
Yeah.
you mess with this
The
order?
little bit of OCD that some people have, they're like,
Yes.
what the hell?
Yeah. So according to Barnes and Noble, that's not going to be produced until February 23rd of 2023. So I have a while.
Okay. Yeah, you got a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna a little bit. Anyway, I have watched The Gray Man. Not the watch. I have read The Gray Man. That's a movie coming out.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see the movie before.
It's with the Russos, so I'm very excited about that. Actually,
it looks fantastic.
It does look really good. There's this one clip I love. You guys can search it on YouTube. It's great, and I love the chemistry.
I'm excited to see Ryan Gosling as an action guy.
Yeah,
like I'm not sure if we've ever seen that. I mean, we saw it a little bit in the action comedy of the other guys, but
yeah,
or the good guys. Sorry,
right. Or there's one where he's a driver.
Oh, that's right. It's called Driver.
Yeah, but he's not. That's not real actiony.
I wouldn't call that an action thing. I mean, there's some action elements to it, but you know, no, I wouldn't call it an action.
Right.
So interesting, The Gray Man. Yeah,
but the Gray Man book's very good.
Okay.
So yeah, I like it.
Again on Audible, I started listening to Impact Winter. It's I think I found out they're actually I think the BBC or somebody's doing a series by Travis Beecham, and it's a full cast narration, so it's like a radio program.
Oh, cool.
So different actors doing the different characters, things like that. It is a comet hits Earth, and the subsequent, you know, kicking the dust up, and so the sun has been blocked out, and vampires start to appear. And you're kind of like, are they from the comet? Is this like a weird kind of ground effect, or it sounds like
hiding in the woodwork the whole time?
I think that's what it is. I mean, it seems very much like they've always been here, but now that they can walk around, and there's three different types. You've got like your very feral, almost ghoul types.
Yeah.
You've kind of got like your normal, like they have their personality types, and then you have something called the Overlord. And I'm like, okay,
cool.
Okay.
How are the vampires? Are they vicious? Are they, or are they?
Well,
they're all different. Three of them.
The type ones very vicious.
Okay.
The type twos seem okay, like they're with it.
Yeah.
But they might not have the full abilities of the Overlord, which I've heard mention of, but we haven't
seen or witnessed.
Well, where I'm at, we've seen one, but you don't know the extent of his abilities other than he kind of to use some telepathy or something like that. But so far it's very solid. It's episodic. But I was looking, I again was getting sucked into the Dresden Files, like just killing those books. And I was like, you know what? I do like this rotation of like 5 different series or something like that, and that's all I'm doing in Audible. It's like getting too much into that. I'm like, pick up something different, do something different, and so that's why I went with this.
Yeah. Does Audible do kind of what YouTube does, that if you watch 1 or 2 things, they just flood you with all this other stuff you might like that's associated with that?
There's some recommendations, like because I listened to the Bobaverse, We Are Legion, We Are Bob, it says, oh, you might actually like the Expanse novels by I think it's Larry Correa that wrote those. They're like, you might like those, and I'm like, I like the show, but I'm and again, jumping into like a 15 novel series isn't on my to-do list right now.
No, especially after Dune knocked you out, right? Dune choked out.
Yeah, Dune choked me out a little bit. I'm like, I'm gonna do Dune, and then I'm in the last like 10th. Like literally, I would listen. I need to listen to the Messiah for like 2 hours, and it would actually count as finished. Okay. I'm like, nope. I'm just gonna Wikipedia that. I'm not.
I'm done.
Not gonna do it.
Yeah.
So
So, guys, we've given you some great things to catch up on if you didn't do it.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a question. Stranger Things. I'm not going to give any spoilers away. I thought
Okay.
this was the last season.
I thought that too. Like going into it, I thought they were going to close it
It's
out
not?
with 4. No.
Obviously, it's not. I was like,
It
is that how it's ending?
It very much seems like 5 is going to be the end.
Okay. So that'll be 3 hours per episode.
I think I heard they're going to get away from that.
Okay.
But yeah, because the last episode was a bit of a haul.
Yeah, bit of a haul. Yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed it. I really liked all of Stranger Things. I was just watching it. Some of the best parts are Eddie Munson.
Everybody he's fantastic.
Yeah, everybody knows that. He does a nice little solo. That's pretty cool.
Have you?
No, haven't heard about that.
It's interesting. Yeah. What's that about?
No, I mean, like, I haven't heard, like, I hear there's this amazing story behind it or something like that, but I don't really
I don't know about the amazing story other than they got the rights for it. And the effect that Stranger Things is having on the music industry.
Yes.
Is really
especially
cool.
One song.
Yeah, it seems to be like one song per season, but like for this season, Kate Bush running up that hill.
Yep.
And I consider myself a pretty big 80s music fan.
Never heard it, did you?
Never heard of this song before.
Neither did I. Did I.
But Kate Bush owns the right to her own music.
Okay. Is she still alive? Is she still?
Oh yeah, she is. Okay. She's still alive.
Okay.
It is her production company that releases it, meaning all of the money that this one song is now making on like Spotify, Pandora, Amazon, all that all those proceeds are going straight back to her. Wow. So within the first 2 weeks of Stranger Things, like the first part, the first volume coming out, she cashed a check for like $2.5 million. Like,
I
bet. You can you imagine being like, I don't say washed up because I have no idea what she was doing otherwise, but I hadn't heard.
She wasn't on a radar.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
To all of a sudden be like, you've got the #1 song in the world right now, and here's your check for millions of dollars, and you're like,
yeah. Can you imagine can you imagine being her? Let's say she wasn't washed up, but let's say she just healthily retired. Yeah. And she's just sitting there. She's just sitting there getting her morning coffee, and her agent calls her up, and she's like, I haven't talked to this guy in a while. What's up? Yeah. He's like, guess what, Kate?
So
I'm buying that new yacht.
Have you heard of Stranger Things? Because they want to use your song.
Yeah. No, it was I loved Stranger Things. That's one of the very few shows where I feel like unless they screw it up, I hope they don't Game of Thrones this and just
there's a little bit of that fear.
Because it's coming down to it. So watch that. Watch the Terminal List. If you feel like going out to see Thor Love and Thunder, go for it.
Yeah.
I want to introduce a new segment that I think we're going to see how long we can continue to do this. I have 3 questions. I'm just going to name them 1, 2, or 3. You tell me which one you want me to read out. But what this segment is called is Dad Bod. And it's not exactly what you think it is with the title. It's the only one I thought that was catchy. But what we're going to do at Dad Bod is, Greg, you've been a dad a lot longer than me. You have 3 times more the experience than me.
17 and a half years. Yes.
You have 3 times the more experience than me. I am a new dad in this world. And I think there's a lot of dads out there that don't have a fucking clue, or they're looking for a clue, or they're looking for experience, or they're looking to talk or hear that, hey, I was freaking out about that. Oh, cool. Like, I'm not the only one that's freaked out about that. So I was going to bounce some stuff off you. You tell me how you view it. I'll tell you how I view it. Whoever listens, add in how you view it. If you are a father, or pack it away or put it in your little pocket and pull it out when you need it when you become a father. So, Greg, question 1, 2, or 3. You tell me. Just go with it.
2, because chaos reigns.
Okay. How do you handle your kids getting offended in this day and age now when they come home and they're saying, this guy just totally offended me? Because I'll be honest, Greg, this is one of my pressure points this month for some reason. I'm so sick and tired of people being offended. Do you remember a time you were ever deeply offended, Greg, and it ruined your day? You had to like stop what you were doing and write a stern letter and all this shit.
You mean like as a kid or like as an adult? Or
let's go with as a kid.
No, I never.
Exactly. None of us, I think I can speak freely for all of us that are me, Greg, and I's age. We didn't get offended. If somebody said something, we didn't like what they said, our first thought was, you're an asshole. I'm not hanging out with you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's not that we didn't get offended. It's just
We didn't carry it. We didn't put a
Yeah.
title behind it. We didn't make it like this. I don't know, like this. All of a sudden, you can just lift up this flag and I'm offended.
Yeah.
Like, so how do you do that with teenagers now, essentially?
It's interesting because you don't want to just like dismiss their feelings on the issue, because usually when you're talking about what are they offended about, it's usually like a social issue of some kind.
Okay.
Or even if it was like something that their friends did, you try to have them at least take some perspective on it and be like, okay, that's how you're feeling, but what about the other side of this? Like, try to put yourself and have them try to get into kind of the empathy piece and remember what the other person's feeling and things like that. So there's that piece, and my wife is really good with that. Helping them through
How's
that.
she good at with it?
Well, she's just good at really talking them through their feelings and you know, as a dad, I think my go-to is, okay, be offended. Fine, be offended. But nothing happens. Like, great, you're offended. World doesn't give a shit. That's kind of
where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like, I will say this. Someone I know, you know them too. They had to deal with a situation where someone was greatly offended by the Roe versus Wade, which is a very touchy subject.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Very touchy subject. But what I mean is, they were offended by the way it was presented as almost a helpful thing. Like, if you need to talk about this, here are some places that you can go and discuss.
Okay.
And somebody lost their mind and spent, I'm guessing, at least 3 or 4 hours ripping through the information so they could point out what they were all offended by. And I just thought, when did this become? Why is this such a thing now? Why are we a lot? Like, it's like you said, okay, you're offended, move on.
Yeah.
like that's what I mean. It's when did we become so attached to this that when did offending become such a, oh, you got offended? Well, now you have to like do a formal apology, and now it's like, Jesus Christ, just move on.
And like I said, there's a balancing act here. I'm not trying to dismiss other people's opinions or feelings on an issue. At the same time, I know people that are, especially lately, are really trying to. It's like they're trying to pick a fight.
Yeah,
it is very much like they're
trying to find something that they can stand on and say, this is my cause.
Yeah, it's. I don't even think it's that. It's like, if I share something, like if it's on my socials, on our socials or something like that, where it's, doing it through the podcast socials, there are people out there that are starting to, like, they're trying to come at us.
Yes.
Of like, oh yeah, well, they think this, or you, so what you're saying is you believe this, this, and this. I'm like, I didn't say that at all.
Yeah.
Or thinking that because you have an opinion about one thing, well, then you must share all of these other
opinions. Yes.
And you're like, no, I don't have to think that way at all.
Right.
And the fact that they try to put us in that kind of a box is offensive in itself, where you're like, nope, I'm my own man, as are you. I mean, and we've disagreed on some of the things that get shared out through our socials. And I don't know. I mean, it's like they're trying to pick a fight, and I'm not going to engage in that, because engaging through the social media platforms, it's not really a conversation.
Do you think that's the problem?
I think so. I think it is like, whoever you're talking about, and I, honest to goodness, folks, do not know who he's talking about here. If this person that we both know were to say, hey, you know what? I want to sit down and have a conversation about this, even if it's on the show. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Let's have an actual conversation where we can have more of the elements of communication, such as body language and tone and things like that, that are, we know is 80% of communication comes through tone and body language. And it's not just words, where social media is just bringing
Words.
here are the words. And you think that because of these words, you can infer my tone, you can infer what I'm trying to communicate. And you think I'm either angry or snotty or being a shithead or whatever. Maybe I'm just saying, hey, you know what? There are elements to this person's argument that I really agree with, but we can't, that back and forth isn't there.
Right.
So, yeah.
So going back to the dad bod portion of this conversation.
Yes, yeah.
So when you sit there and you say, do you think that's the best way to go as a dad, to sit there and say, you got offended? It's time to just like take whatever, I wouldn't say take whatever time you need, but I would say, okay, digest it and move on.
I try to have them at least consider the other side. Like,
okay.
Like put yourself in the other person's shoes, realize that this could be how they are thinking and feeling before you start to solidify your opinions about them.
Okay.
Or, I mean, because whatever you think their motivation is, very well might not be their motivation at all, of why the person said this, did this, shared this, whatever.
Right.
You know, just try to get them to think about it in that respect. It comes down to the, you know, how we used to end the show with that 3-step, you know, check your sources, know your audience, and don't be a douche. I mean,
try to do all that with emotion.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You've gotta, you know, you've got to take a breath and, you know, it's just funny. Yeah. Cousin Clay is on here and he is a dad. He said, you know, he just tries to point out to his kids, hey, it could be worse. You know,
there you go.
Okay. It could always be worse. And then, you know, you do have to move on. Like the world isn't going to stop turning because you're offended or whether you process.
Well, I heard people they couldn't work or they couldn't go to school when Trump got elected.
That's like bullshit.
My day did not change when I found out he was president. I still went up. I still did work. And anybody I talked to, it was like, hey, Trump's president. I'm like, yep. And we kept going on. Like it didn't matter. And I'm just, I mean, that's a higher thing that I'm not trying to get into the Trump thing. I could care if he won or lost personally. Anyway, my point is dealing with, you have to deal with,
but letting something like that ruin your week.
Yeah.
Now, you can have feelings about it for sure.
Absolutely. Yes.
And you can have opinions about it because people will. I mean, we're in Wisconsin, we're coming up on governor elections, you know, this year. And it's like, there's going to be a lot of people either really happy or really sad. I mean, it's just going to happen.
Right.
And I, you know, in my opinion, I'm like, you know, who's going to get elected? The wrong person.
Yes.
Because that's just how it's going to go.
Yeah. I don't know if I can actually take what Gwen's going through at 4 now and say she's offended, but she gets worked up. Like we were at a water park this weekend. She got worked up because a little boy came around and splashed everybody in the face. He thought it was the best thing in the world to walk around to each individual person he didn't know in the world and splash him right in the face. And he had goggles on, by the way.
Yeah.
The dad in me, protecting my little girl, wanted to take those goggles and pull them and let it go.
Yep.
And smack it. But I had to let it play out. Gwen came up to me and she said, Daddy, like he splashed me. Like she's offended at that age. Yeah. She was upset and offended at that age. And I said, okay, he's doing it to everybody. Okay. I said, you just got to tell him, please don't splash me and walk away. Okay. Because I'm not going to have my little 4-year-old girl beat up a guy in the middle of a water park. I'm just not going to do that nowadays. Now, I did say if he does it again, I want you to splash him as best you can or push him down. Okay. Now, Ursula was appalled that I would tell you, not going to tell her to push somebody down. I said, I am. If I said 1 strike, like he splashed her and he got away with it. If he comes back, go ahead and tell him to stop it and walk away. If he does it a 3rd time, that's your time to attack.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the best advice to give. It's the best advice I had in my head at the moment.
Yeah.
But
that's kind of what parenting is half the time.
I kind of understand. And that's why I wanted to bring this up, because we're dealing with things I'm dealing it from a four-year-old perspective. You're dealing it from three different perspectives.
Yeah.
And you've gone through all of this.
Well, and the idea that other people will raise assholes.
Yes, that's true.
If that kid was going around splashing everyone, one, where are his parents? Do they think it's funny? And assholes raise assholes. And that's not going to change. It hasn't changed since the beginning of time, and it's not going to change from here on after.
Yes.
So that's a lesson for your kids to learn. I'm like, yeah, that kid's an asshole. Let's try to avoid him.
Yeah.
Or like you said, 3 strikes. And, if she pushes the kids down and all of a sudden parents are having an issue, well, then you tell them your kid's an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't you do something about that?
Yeah, do something about it. Excuse me. I agree. So if any of you guys out there, hang on one second.
Is it okay? Are we doing all 3 questions or are we just doing the one?
Just one today.
Okay. Got it.
Just one today.
Got it.
And as same with you, if parenting, and that's what I want to throw out to everybody else.
Submit your questions at johnnyandthegreg.com.
Yeah. If you guys have a dad question you want us, or dad bod question you want us to hit, hashtag it dad bod. See if we can get this going. It'll probably be weird though. But anyway, send us questions of things that you're wondering. Hey, how do they handle it? How do they, Greg, you think of it. I'll think of more.
Send it to our Facebook page, our Instagram account. We will answer it.
Yeah, this is something that we're going to do because I want to learn some stuff because I am all about trying to be the best dad I can be. So that's a big deal to me. Should we throw in?
Yes.
Should we throw in like there is this little thing where you're a dad and a husband, and somewhere in the middle. You're both at the same time, and you got to manage both. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say, like a husband and a dad.
Yes.
So if you want to throw a question about that, like I got one coming up. Greg didn't guess it today, but I got one coming up. But yeah, if you guys just have any questions, anything like that, throw it at us. Hashtag it dad bod. We'll throw it down and see if we
see what we got.
See what we got. All right. What do you got, G? Anything?
No, not really.
No.
We're about in an hour.
So. Are we about an hour?
Yep.
Oh shit, we are at an hour. Okay. I wanted to do one more thing, but I'll save that for another day. Actually, I have a quick we'll start this too, actually. This is something I pulled off of I think it's Barstool
Sports.
They have this bracket, and this bracket's called the best feelings bracket.
Okay.
And it's like a March Madness thing, right? So they have all these different best feelings.
Like a tournament.
All right. So let's just vote on this, everybody that's listening, and then we'll see who moves on. All right. And the first seed is having an orgasm. Now they're going up against the 16 seed of waking up to a snow day. Okay. So you have an orgasm versus waking up to a snow day. Now, don't discourage having a snow day. There's something very cool when you're an adult about waking up and realizing, oh shit, I don't got to work today. Now, not for you.
Yeah, not for me.
Because you stay at home and you're going to do it regardless. But
for
those of you that drive, or I don't know, I think it's very rare nowadays adults have snow days. So I think it's going to lose to have an orgasm because it's an orgasm.
Yeah.
But that's
one of I will say, out of the 2 things, one of them happens a lot more often than the others.
Yes. There you go. This next one is weird. The 8th seed versus the 9th seed. So the 8th seed is sneezing. What did somebody say? What comment do we got?
Clay's like, internet went out.
Internet went out.
Could you imagine if you got a snow day and then your internet goes out? You're like, motherfucker.
The 8th seed is sneezing, which I never took that as a good feeling.
Is that an emotion? I wouldn't call that an emotion.
Yeah, it's sneezing versus waking up from a nightmare. I think waking up from a nightmare blows away sneezing. Right? Have you ever thought when you sneezed, Clay? I know you're listening. I think you're the only one listening.
Oh, we got a couple more, but
okay. If you sneeze, have you ever thought, wow, that felt good? Like I've never had.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
there was never a like. It's not like a burp, and you're like, oh, okay, now I have room.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
Usually,
So,
if you sneeze, you're like, mother. Oh my God, what did I just do?
Or usually it comes in threes, and you're like, oh God, please stop, please stop, please stop.
If you go to 4, I'm literally looking at you and be like, get your shit together. Come on.
Yeah, right. Especially nowadays.
Waking up from a nightmare is usually terrifying in itself too, because then you realize like, oh, what did my subconscious just do to me?
Have you really thought that?
Oh yeah.
Really? Like,
Yeah.
or I can see the next day as you're going through.
No, like I've woken up from nightmares like as an adult, still like afraid to move. Like, yeah,
wow.
like it's terrifying.
Wow. So, but when you so there is no actual moment where you're like, oh, sweet Jesus, that was only a nightmare. Thank God.
No, nope. I mean,
Okay.
like I will force myself to like roll over and try to go back to sleep and hope I don't re-enter it.
So do you think sneezing wins that one then? Or would sneezing win that for you?
Well, it's kind of weird because like sneezing, I'm like, okay, whatever. But coming out of a nightmare, you're like, well, I'm glad I'm not in it anymore, because if I had to keep in it, that'd be no fun.
I get that. I don't know who, in my opinion, probably waking up from a nightmare might be easier or might be a better feeling than sneezing.
Yeah. Because at least you realize it's a dream and that your kids aren't
pretty much
possessed.
right now it's waking up from a nightmare versus having an orgasm. Okay, good luck.
Yeah, no,
that's number 9.
That's another no contest.
Yeah. Okay, so I think in the first bracket here, because it was just those 4 subjects, and the first of our final 4 is having an orgasm.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Next bracket or next.
Oh, we're gonna go through the whole thing.
Okay. Yeah. Why not? The next section is avoiding red lights. So I guess on your commute or wherever you got to get to, like a red light never happens. That's kind of cool. Usually when that happens to me, I'm thinking maybe the stars are aligned. I should buy a lottery ticket.
Do you turn down the radio at a red light and stop singing if you're in the car?
No.
Okay.
I listen to talk radio now, so I rarely listen to singing.
I've never. Do you sing in the car? I've never known you to. Like we don't, like when we're driving together, we're not singing.
No, not really. Unless it's a really good tune.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will, but it's usually up so loud that I can't hear myself because I don't want to do that.
No. So you're like, wow, I sound just like Stephen Perry.
Yes, that would be how that goes.
Yeah. So avoiding red lights versus seeing your food coming at a restaurant. Which one's a better feeling?
I can think avoiding red lights because
me too.
Like if I see the food coming, I'm like, yep, they're here.
Yeah. I'm not really excited yet because I always wait until it's till I taste it. Then I'll know if I'm excited or not. That's all. Yeah. I might get more excited if I see a drink coming first. Like if it's a Friday night and that drink and that blue comes, and I'm like, oh,
it's because that's expected. Like if I ordered something, I'm expecting it to come. Where if you're just hitting all greens, you're like, woo.
There you go. That's a good point. All right. So the next the next section: quitting your job or getting a haircut. Quitting your job. Yeah. That's experience, right? Didn't that feel good? Not that you had anything against them, but it felt good.
Yeah, because it's like I'm moving up in the world.
Right. Exactly. Getting a haircut, you do feel good. Oh, you don't know about that, do you, Greg?
It's been a long time. No.
How did you feel about after your really long, big shave? When you had that really big beard and you got it shaved down?
Yeah, I think that felt okay. I mean, it was weird to have. I mean, and again, I haven't been to a barber or a stylist or anything. I mean, we're going on 20 some years, right?
Do you feel good after you shave your head?
It's fine. I mean, I shave once or twice a week, so it's just kind of like it's like a chore sometimes.
It's almost a chore now. Okay.
Yeah, but and yeah, like when we had the when she came in and like did the beard, it felt. I'm like, this is as close proximity as another woman has been to me for an extended period of time since I got married. And I was just like, Okay. Because that thought hit me. I'm like, yep, she's right there. I mean, because it's a stylist. I mean, and she wasn't doing anything wrong. And I mean,
No,
she was just, I mean, she was just, doing the beard. I'm just like, God, she's
when you were
really
getting your
close.
haircut, back in the day,
Yeah.
did you ever have a girl accidentally, like, she's so into her work she didn't realize like her boob is smashing into your face?
There was a stylist in my hometown
Yeah.
that every teenage guy
Wanted to
went
go to? Yeah.
We all wanted it.
Was it because of that?
Very much so. She
Okay.
was, I mean, she, I don't even know if she had kids at the time. Maybe she did,
Who cares?
but no, it's not that. I mean, I'm just trying to place the age. I mean, it's not like she was like, this hot 40-year-old woman. I think she was probably still in her 20s at the time, and we're teenagers.
Yeah.
And maybe she was late 20s, but yeah, we all wanted to go see Diane because one, she did a scalp massage with
you said her name.
Oh yeah. I don't know where she's at anymore.
Dirty Diane.
I don't care. She was the hot stylist and brought it. But she would give you a scalp massage, and then yeah, I mean, as she's doing her job,
Yeah.
Not purposefully,
Of course not.
but yeah,
or maybe, who knows?
Maybe, I don't know. That'd be weird, but
it would be weird, but everybody was lining up for it.
It didn't stop everybody like from just being like,
yeah.
just lean into it.
So it depends on who's giving you the haircut, I guess, then, in that question, right?
I guess so, yeah. In fact, it was fun because I started taking my son to Sport Clips, and that's all I ever heard was like Sport Clips was like a haircut lap dance, and that is totally not the case. Totally not the case.
Totally not the case.
But some people that were just upset,
yes,
that it was like this made for men's haircut place that happened to be staffed by all women, because honestly, most of the people that cut hair in a strip mall are women.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was the that was
yeah. So between quitting your job and getting a haircut, I would say quitting your job would be that. So between quitting your job and did we vote on avoiding red lights?
Avoiding what red lights won. That
so between so avoiding red lights versus quitting your job.
Oh, okay.
Quitting your job, right?
Still, yeah, it's still quitting your job.
So right now in our final four, two of them are having an orgasm and quitting your job. Okay. Well, no, there's no championship. We're not doing the final four yet. So just don't.
Okay.
All right. Here's the other side of the bracket: making people laugh versus taking a good poop.
I love making people laugh.
First off, I know you do. That's one of your. It's a
gift.
One of your honeys.
I guess. What?
One of your honeys. Like it makes you feel good. It makes everybody feel good when you can get somebody to laugh.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's
one of the best. Just making people happy is one of the best feelings in the world.
Yeah. So I would agree. My only problem with taking a good, like, what are we talking here? Are we talking about now? What's
the scale?
Good, you feel good because your stomach doesn't hurt anymore, or the cramping's gone, or you feel, one went through, no problem.
You just feel like you accomplished something.
Yeah, I don't know where the good feeling would come from. I've never walked away going, oh wow, great feeling. Yes. Like I never walked out going, pooped.
Yeah.
Now I have felt happy for when my little girl finally figured out to poop in the toilet. I was like, yes, we did that.
That's an exciting day.
Yeah, that's an exciting day.
Yeah, I can't.
Or when my puppy finally figured it out, I was like, yes, outside, not in the house. Bingo.
I've never understood. I mean, one, because that particular bathroom time, when I say it is sacred,
yes,
it means I don't want anyone in there. That is, and I know this is a total dad thing, and moms are like, well, of course, because the kids aren't knocking down the door trying to. So that's one of the big mom things, especially for young moms, like they haven't pooped in peace in years. But I look at
had a hot meal.
Yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that where I go, nope, I will I will just lock the door.
Yeah.
And I even saw like the hands coming up. And, nope,
Yeah.
nope, this is dad time. One, I don't want to make anybody else suffer through that, and it's like, no, this is.
Can you talk about a
But
more vulnerable time?
No, I mean, it's very vulnerable, but
Yeah.
but I know, like, maybe I don't know individuals, but I've heard of couples that'll be like, yo, come take a look at this.
No.
And I'm
way.
like, yeah, I've,
wow.
and I'm like, no. So even if you have a good one, and this is where I'm going to land the plane on this one. Even if you have a good one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What's the good one? What's a good one?
I don't know, but even whatever your definition is, if we were to go through the exercise and try to define what that is,
right.
I'm not documenting it. I'm
right.
not trying to like
I know
bring people
buddies
in
actually
to witness.
take pictures and send it to their other buddy.
No,
Yeah.
no,
I wouldn't be into that either.
I know a guy, and I used to take martial arts with him, but he's one of my best friends for about 4 years, and then he moved away. But like he'd be on the shitter and we'd be on the phone, and he'd be like, "Hey, I just took a big shit." I'm like, on the phone with me? He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Dude, don't fucking do that."
Yeah, right.
Like, why do you care? I'm like, "I don't know why I care, but don't do that."
Yeah, but why do you care to tell me? Like,
yeah, like I will. Like,
yeah, I agree with you. I'm very.
This has happened. You have called me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, like
okay.
random calls during the day because you and I call each other all the time.
Yes.
And you have called me when I'm on the shitter, and I'm like, I'll call you back. Nope. I'm not taking the phone call right now.
Oh, okay. So you haven't taken the phone call because I don't remember a time where you ever told me.
Never.
Okay.
Never.
Yeah. Not a problem.
Wife calls. Nope. I'll call you back. And if it I will text her, is this an emergency right now?
Yes. Yeah. I do that with Ursula. Yes.
Yeah. Because no,
I agree with you. I agree. That's a sacred time for dads.
Yeah. And we're not avoiding it. Again, I'm like, no one else needs to be involved in this process.
yeah. Like, let me make my deposit.
There's going to come a day where I'm old enough where the doctor's going to be like, here's what we need you to do. You need to collect a sample. You need to do a thing. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to like that time.
No, of course not.
I'm not going to be happy about it because some other older gentlemen that I was talking with a couple months ago that are at the age where they need to go see the proctologist and get like the colonoscopy kind of thing, stuff like that. Yes. And one guy's like, nope, I sent mine through the mail. I'm like, how'd you do that? You just like put the old pipe camera on there yourself and send it through on your cell phone? I don't understand what's going on. And no, there's a medical outfit that you just collect a stool sample and mail.
God, imagine that job.
And I'm like, I don't want to know what that's like.
Yeah. Yeah, there's certain things I don't want to know what it's like, but I might have to figure it out.
Well, I think we all do at some point.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So I think between these two, without a doubt, making people laugh beats definitely taking a good poop. Yeah. All right. Winning a long shot bet or the relief of peeing. There have been moments where I've gone, oh, after So it's funny. I've never sat there and thought to myself, that's a good feeling.
There was one year I was teaching and we were in lockdown because some jackass wrote a bomb threat on the girls' bathroom stall. And we were in lockdown all day. And it was no bathrooms, no nothing. And I was in pain. Okay. Like literal pain.
Yeah.
To the point where, the student I had in the classroom, he was a student with a developmental disability. And so he was feeling it too. So I'm like, buddy, we're going to break the rules. And that bugged him, but I'm like, we have to. So I took him out and I was stopped in the hallway by the police. They're like, sir, I said, I work here, showed him my ID, explained the situation for the kid. And I'm like, we're getting to the bathroom and we're getting there now.
Yeah.
And I had to go too, but
you want to arrest me?
yeah, so I was like, you want to arrest us? You go right ahead after we come out.
Yeah. Right.
We go into the bathroom and I got hollered on a little bit for that. I'm like, I'm not apologizing.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
like
not, yeah.
they're like, we were doing bathroom like releases for classrooms. I'm like, you put me in a closet in literally the back half of the building. Like it was me and then the exit. We were the last people that were going to get released. I'm like, no, screw that.
Yeah, I look, I'm only going to say winning a long shot bet beats relief of pain only because there are people that have serious like problems with gambling, so there has to be some sort of high that's associated with it.
I mean,
I'm not a gambler, so I don't get jazzed up about any bets I win or lose if I even rarely take a bet.
I've hit slot machines a couple times for a couple hundred.
Any good feeling?
Well, sure, it feels good.
Does it equate? Is it better than the P?
I don't know.
I think it would be, to be honest.
Because
it's something, because I feel like
it is until you do the math of how much you put in versus how much you got out, and then you're like, I'm still down. Okay.
Oh, well, I just think it's because it's almost like Christmas. If Christmas was every day, 2 or 3 times a day, it would lose its appeal.
Yeah, probably.
Right. But if you hit that long shot bet, so I say that wins on that. 4 more. Canceling plans or getting love from a dog. To me, it's getting love from a dog.
Oh, yeah, dog. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm at this weird age now where I don't really want to cancel plans. Like, I don't want to like get out of a plan that I made with friends because I feel like now I have that circle where like these are our friends. I'm not going to people's houses that I hate.
Right. Yeah. I'm in that same spot. Like,
yeah. So I would say getting love from a dog beats that out.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, even if I did like canceling plans, dogs win.
Yeah, I agree. Last one, making a highlight play or when the direct deposit hits.
Direct deposits are kind of nice when that comes in. You're like, holy shit, we made it.
Well, not only that, you always feel good about that versus making a highlight play. Rarely do I make a highlight play anymore. Like,
yeah.
And
even when I did,
whatever,
there are a couple plays in my head that I know I made.
Yeah.
Back in high school when I was an athlete, and you go, that was pretty cool. And that's it. And then you move on.
It doesn't make you want to put on the Letterman jacket.
No one else remembers that play but me.
Yeah.
No
one. Okay.
Yeah.
I get you. All right. So between when the direct deposit hits and getting love from a dog, which one wins?
Dog.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Dog is in our final 4, probably versus making people laugh versus winning a long shot bet. I would say making people laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's still better.
All right. Now it's hard. Final 4, folks. Final 4. Here it is. Making people laugh versus getting love from a dog. I'm going with the dog.
Yeah.
Because the dogs are special, man.
They are.
By the way, that 4 days I was in a comatose state, that damn dog I don't like never left my side.
He's awesome. Like, I know you don't like him
I know
some of the time, but he's a fantastic. I love getting love from your dog.
Yeah, okay. But he was fantastic. He never left my side, not once. She was like, Ursula would come up and check up on me, and she's like, has he moved? Does he need to go to the bathroom? I'm like, I'm betting you he does. It's like 8 hours he hasn't moved.
Yeah, because he's like, you're not well.
Right. So that's in my championship game, getting love from a dog.
I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna say making people laugh, because there have been stages of my life when I did not have a dog.
Yeah.
And I made it through okay. So
would you, here's an either or. Have you ever wanted to make somebody laugh that you never made laugh?
Kind of.
Okay,
like
sometimes
it's almost like a personal challenge. You're like, I'm gonna get you.
Okay, here we go. You are in, where is it? The Bradley Center? What is it? Where did we see Joe Rogan?
Pfizer Forum.
Where the Milwaukee Bucks play, right?
The Pfizer Forum.
Pfizer Forum. Okay. You get up there, you get to tell a joke. If it lands, the entire stadium erupts. Do you get that or one last big hug and kiss from Indy?
See, that's not fair.
That is fair.
No, it's not.
I would pick my dog Bo in a New York minute.
Yeah, well, yeah, because Indy is like he was my dog for 13
That's what I'm
years. So,
saying.
yeah.
Bo
Yes,
was mine.
I would pick the dog over that
Yes. Okay.
particular.
But I was just curious. That has nothing to do with your vote. I'm just saying. All right. So the next one in the final four, having an orgasm versus quitting your job.
Huh.
Yeah, that's a rough one actually. Because Greg, you're new to this still. You feel that feeling still.
Well,
it depends. And also, are you retiring? Because that's probably going to feel really good.
I had a buddy just retire, and he's like, "That's a fantastic feeling."
I bet. Yeah. It's an orgasm. We still chase them.
Yeah.
It has to be an orgasm.
I mean, quitting your job is awesome.
Yeah. Well, you will do a lot of things illegal and legal for an orgasm.
People have.
Yes. People have fought wars for an orgasm.
The whole city of Troy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still going to go for that.
Yeah. So then would you say making people laugh? Okay. So for you, Greg, having an orgasm and making people laugh is your championship game.
I don't know if I can choose between the two.
Really? I'm having a hard time because my championship game is having an orgasm versus getting love from a dog. Some perverts out there could sit there and say you could do both on that one.
Well, you know what? I'm pretty sure I have tried to maybe do both of mine at the same time. Okay, so do you remember the HBO special series?
What did Clay say? What did he say?
He just said got weird.
Well, we're past our usual hour, so it's going to get weird now.
Yeah, we've gone into the late night version of it. Do you remember the HBO series? It ran all through the 80s called Real Sex.
Yeah.
So it was late night. For those of you that don't know, all the ones that are left, for those of you that don't know, the Real Sex was a late night HBO. I think they did it like once a year, maybe. Yeah. I don't really know.
It was in the 90s, right?
I think like 80s.
I remember 90s. Trying to record it as a kid, because
it was small news stories.
Yes.
About, and it says my mom is listening. Well, Mom, you're the one that paid for HBO and let me stay up late. That's on you. So they were like news stories of like some aspect of adult sexuality, everything from very serious to just fucking weird.
Yeah.
And I remember watching one, it was about clown sex, like literally people dressing up as clowns and having orgies. And I was just like,
wow.
And it was, I mean, that the entire series was very graphic. Like,
yes, it was. I remember one. That's where I learned about tantric sex.
Well, and like thinking back to it, I'm like, it was still like cable, like, and it was NC 17 kind of shit.
Yeah, and that was right before Skinamax or something like that.
No, I think it was during the same time. I would think. Well, Skinamax was what 80s, and this was if we're
wasn't Skinamax Cinemax.
It was just like
okay,
like whatever the after hours Cinemax was.
Yeah, that's called soft porn, right? You don't see anything; you just see naked bodies moving back and forth, right? Wasn't that
it?
Isn't that called soft porn or
softcore porn?
Softcore porn, okay.
And I think some of that was but then some of it was just like comedies with boobies in it.
Yes,
like,
you're right.
It was
like
some like ski school or
ski patrol.
So something about
like that,
lifeguards at a resort where some boobies and then that's it. So cheap comedies of the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. So anyway, you were talking about
this whole clown sex thing, and I was just like, it was one of the first things I remember. I'm like, oh, there are some freaky people out there. Like they were turned on by.
That's when I first saw furries too, right? Wasn't that a real sex? Furries? No, because they don't have sex. They just pretend like they do.
But it was still within the realm of like they wanted to cover it in that
Yeah. Okay. So
Maybe it was
I
that
do remember
special.
that. I remember
The first
thinking, you gotta be
my
fucking
first
kidding me.
exposure to that was a CSI episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was my first.
I actually
exposure to
remember that
furries.
CSI episode.
And then I was like, "What the hell?" And then shortly after, I think I saw the thing on HBO, and I was like, "Wow,
Yeah,
okay,
that's a thing.
that's a
That's a thing.
thing I
I
didn't
will
know
never
of."
forget I felt like I was in a safari where Ursula and I were driving to some sort of steakhouse right by Rosemont. And we saw all these furries walking down the
Convention.
road and walking in the convention. I was like, oh my God, it's a furry. They're furries. And Ursula's like, what? What are you talking about? Why are they all dressed up like animals? I'm like, because they get together and they screw. And she's like, no, they don't. I'm like, yeah, they like to pretend like they're dogs and stuff and cats. And
There's so
they don't just screw. I know that. They don't.
There's more to it than that.
Yes,
And I didn't, again, I wasn't aware of it. I came back again. I was teaching high school, and I came back. There's a post-it note on my desk. Hey, Greg, what are furries? I knew who wrote it because I could recognize their handwriting. I was like, what the fuck? So I pick it up and I go into this other teacher's room as another special ed teacher. I'm like, one, why are you asking? And two, why the fuck are you asking me? Like, I know. She's like, I just kind of figured you knew. I'm like, well, I do know, but the reason I know is because on CSI like 3 weeks ago. But she had a student who was on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
But very smart, could kind of communicate what he was feeling. Well, he communicated very well, but was struggling with some of his feelings and stuff like that. And he was upset because his mom would not take him to that Chicago convention, which is, I believe, an annual thing. And he was upset that his mom wouldn't take him. And so the mom was like, can you talk to him about furries? My coworker was like, I don't even know what that is. Let me ask the guy I think would know, me. And it was interesting because when we sat down, we started to break it down. This kid, again, an 18-year-old or maybe even 19-year-old with autism, and just is not comfortable in his own skin in general. But what he discovered was when he would put on this suit, he could be anybody. He was no longer the kid with autism.
He was a tiger.
He was just this character that he created. No one could see him. They couldn't judge him. It wasn't about how he looked. It was like this. He had this shield that he could put up and be socially accepted by this group. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Just like blew my
Never
mind.
thought of it that way. Yeah.
Never thought of it because I mean, here we are. We're even laughing about it. We're like, oh, they just get together and do weird sex stuff.
Yeah.
But there's a whole nother level. And then again, you start to think about it. I'm like, how many people just are so uncomfortable in their own skin and they're looking for some kind of acceptance and even some kind of affection, that this is the
extent to where they go.
This is the extent that they feel they need to go to. And I'm like, that's really sad, but like, wow. So
thanks for bringing down the mood, Greg. We were having a good time. And then you got real on us.
So clown sex is weird because this is the only scene that really sticks out of my head. Is this one woman was on top of a guy and she literally put like the horn
oh God,
so that every time she would bounce, and I was like, yeah. And at 16, 17-year-old, I'm like, I might be too young to watch this.
Yeah, I might be too young. Well, yeah, that could give you nightmares.
All right.
Yeah. The bracket's complete. I think to be honest, I think we both. No, you didn't choose.
I don't know if I can. I mean,
you have to, Greg.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. Because it's not one of those things where it's like you can never have the other one again.
No, just what's the best feeling? What's the best feeling?
You know what? You want to know what? I think I am going to go with making people laugh.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with an orgasm because I'm a man.
See, I'm more of a man than that. I would rather give than receive. So,
look at you. Mine was selfish in both areas. It was getting love from a dog and having an orgasm. It was both. It was both
selfish. Son of a bitch.
Only child. best Christmases ever. Didn't have to share it.
Yep. Then I got 2.
All right. Well, I think we will definitely leave it there. Greg, take
Oh,
us
we
out.
have so much to unpack later. Okay.
Yeah, take us out, Greg.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's so much happening in the world. This was good. This was good to just laugh about this.
Yeah.
Even if y'all didn't laugh at home, obviously I did, and that's why that made me happy for me starting my week. So, as you're out there probably dealing with some heavy stuff coming up because so much going on in the world right now, just remember to have some empathy and don't be a douche.
Bingo. So for the Greg, this is Johnny saying podcast out. Thank you for listening. Take care.